This might be the first country in the world to completely vanish from the map. Imagine an entire nation disappearing, its people left without homes, without land, without even a country to call their own, to preserve what they have. The government of this nation has begun an extraordinary project. They are 3D scanning every detail of their homeland. Every house, every tree, every building, every rock is being digitally preserved. Their land, their ocean, and their culture are considered the most precious treasures of their people, and now they are preparing to shift their entire nation into the virtual world. The country I'm talking about lies in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It is one of the smallest nations on Earth, Tuvalu. With a population of only about 11,000 people, Tuvalu is now on the verge of becoming a tragic first in human history. The first entire country whose population may be forced to leave permanently, not because of war or politics, but because of climate change. Tuvalu is a collection of 9 islands, 6 of which are atolls. Atolls are ring-shaped islands formed when ancient volcanoes sank beneath the sea, leaving behind coral reefs that slowly built up into land. Unlike mountainous islands, atolls are barely above sea level. Tuvalu's average elevation is only 2 meters, and the highest point in the country is just 4.6 meters above sea level. That means even a strong wave or a storm surge can flood homes, roads, and fields. The shape of Tuvalu's islands makes them even more vulnerable. The main island, Funafuti, is long and narrow, resembling a snake, with only a sliver of land separating the ocean from the lagoon. The airport alone takes up half the island. In short, there is no high ground to retreat to. This fragile geography has now collided with the harsh reality of climate change. As polar ice caps melt, sea levels around the world are rising. But in Tuvalu, the rise is happening 1.5 times faster than the global average. NASA's data shows that between 1993 and 2023, the sea level around Tuvalu rose by 15 centimeters. By 2050, it's projected to rise another 20 to 30 centimeters, and by 2100, over a full meter. Right now, Tuvalu floods about 5 days a year. By 2050, that number is expected to rise to 25 days. And by 2100, Tuvalu could be underwater for a third of the year. Funafuti, the capital island where 60% of the people live, will be half submerged. By the end of the century, 95% of Tuvalu's land could be lost to the sea. This isn't a distant problem. 2050 is only 25 years away, within many of our lifetimes. This shows that climate change is no longer an issue of the future. It is happening right now. Tuvalu has tried to fight back. The government has created artificial land by reclaiming around 18 to 19 acres, building coastal barriers, and experimenting with salt-resistant crops. But Tuvalu is small, poor, and isolated. Unlike the Maldives, it does not have a wealthy tourism industry to fund massive infrastructure projects. Most of its revenue comes from foreign aid. Recognizing that survival on their islands may not be possible, Tuvalu has prepared a backup plan: relocation. In 2022, Tuvalu signed a treaty with Australia that offers a special climate visa. Every year, 280 Tuvaluan citizens are allowed to resettle permanently in Australia. Healthcare, housing, and education will be provided, though voting rights are excluded. Over 8,700 people, 82% of the population, have already applied. Because everyone is equally at risk, selection will be made through a lottery system. If this continues, it could take decades for the entire population to leave. Meanwhile, Tuvalu has taken an unprecedented step to protect its sovereignty. The country amended its constitution to declare itself a virtual state. Even if every inch of its land disappears, Tuvalu will continue to exist as a nation in the digital world. Using 3D scans, every part of the islands is being recreated online. Festivals, dances, family heirlooms, even oral histories are being preserved digitally. The government plans to issue digital passports, conduct elections online, and ensure that Tuvalu's culture survives in the cloud. This makes Tuvalu the first country in history to prepare for life after land, an entire nation shifting into cyberspace. But Tuvalu is not alone. Other low-lying island nations such as Kiribati, the Marshall Islands, and Nauru face the same fate. Some are trying to buy land abroad. Kiribati purchased land in Fiji in 2014 to prepare for relocation. Others are relying on natural defenses, planting mangroves and restoring coral reefs to slow erosion and shield against storms. Yet these measures are temporary. Without global action, their futures remain uncertain. The harsh truth is that Tuvalu and these small nations have contributed almost nothing to climate change. Their carbon footprint is negligible, yet they are paying the highest price. While industrialized nations like the United States, China, India, and European powers account for the vast majority of emissions. Tuvalu's Prime Minister, Feleti Teo, has described the continued expansion of fossil fuels by larger nations as a death sentence for his country. Still, countries like Australia offer a lifeline, not just out of compassion, but also out of geopolitical strategy to counter China's growing influence in the Pacific. But here's the real warning. This is not just Tuvalu's problem. Rising seas threaten 800 million people around the world by 2050. Major cities like Mumbai, Kolkata, and Dhaka are at extreme risk. The global economic cost could reach $1 trillion annually. What Tuvalu faces today, much of the world may face tomorrow. The only way forward is collective action, phasing out coal, oil, and gas, and rapidly transitioning to renewable energy. Humanity has confronted a global crisis before, the ozone hole, and succeeded through international cooperation. Climate change is the greatest challenge of our generation, but it is not an unwinnable fight. Tuvalu's story is more than a tragedy. It is a warning and a reminder of what is at stake